All right, good morning, everyone. You're all welcome. So before we start, I'll just give some updates because of brother that is just joining us for the first time. So I would like to know your name. Tell us where you are from. All right, so we are all welcome to the cybersecurity session again. Yes, we have been on this journey for, I think, roughly when we started the main practical. This you may need to this you need to shift because it's obstructing. And go in a little. Thank you, sir. So we've been on the journey for some days now. I think we met 2 to probably 3 times, and we have only established the basics of cybersecurity theoretically. I think we just started looking at uh, some practical aspect of it was it last week? I think it was last week where we started looking at how to set up one of the Windows security architecture, which is I think we got that topic from the cyber security measures, right? That falls under technical measure. So we were told that there are different measures that can actually be put in place in order to stop the attackers as a way of being proactive. And we categorize them or we group them. And then we are still exploring the first option. The first option is technical measures. And I told us that these measures require technical knowledge or technical skills before they can be established. An example we give under these technical measures, the first example was, can somebody remind us, window firewall, right? Window firewall, and then followed by what? Antivirus, right? And then we mentioned encryption, right? We mentioned something like that, which is actually the aspect I'm going to focus on in this section. So like I said, I think I also recorded those classes. Maybe after the class, I'll see how I can get them across to the brother that just joined us. Sorry, I'm yet to get your name properly. So in all, we started with general introduction to cybersecurity, and where we define cybersecurity as using collective method processes to ensure that systems, data, network are what? Secured. Are you with me, sir? So that was actually the definition we gave, though we explained it. Maybe after the class, you can also get their notes. I'll create time to see how I can schedule maybe additional class with you so that I can just cover those basics that we have discussed so far. But we are still at the very basics. We are still at the very basics. We have not even started talking about ethical hacking. We are still exploring the Windows security features, how we can program them, how we can set them up to secure the entire system. So let's continue. In this session, I am focusing on what we call data encryption. That's right, data encryption. That is our focus in this particular section. Data encryption. Data encryption. How to do what? How to program? Okay. To update. We've done that now. Are you saying we have not done Windows security? How to update Windows? We did that now. Okay, we were in the class. We did that. We did window. Okay, what was the main topic before I ask you to write down this topic? Maybe from there I will know if we have actually done it. On how to do what? How to update Windows. Okay, which topic did we discuss before that? Windows. Okay, drivers. Okay, system and Windows driver. But that's supposed to cover window updates. I just want to be sure.
So, one of the results, those videos was out and the people and the
Exactly. We did that now. When I look at it here, let me just go to it again. I said, I think we started looking at the theoretical aspect, trying to understand what is Windows what? Updates. And I told her that Windows updates is very essential, that it is a process of fixing patches, right? That is making the softwares that came with or functions that came with the operating system that will make it stay up to date, is to make them stay active, right? That we call it what? Updates. So which means that one of these security features in your Microsoft Windows can be outdated. And when it happens that way, I told us that your system is open to what? Attack. And that is why I said updating your Windows regularly matters a lot. It's a way of keeping it what? Healthy. It's a way of making the features active to do what they are expected to do. Then I said, practically, how do we update our Windows? But one, I said, your system must be on the internet, right? Then once you're on the internet, you click on the start, then you go to what? Settings, right? Madam, please confirm. Then you select what? Windows updates. Did we touch all these things? And where I now mentioned that from here, you will get an update if your window needs some updates. Like my own, what is it telling me? Your device is missing what? Important security update. And I gave a very strong advice that as a cybersecurity specialist or professional, if you are given system to oversee their security and you come here and you see this kind of message, what did I say you must do? Let's assume that the company just employed you as their cybersecurity expert and trying to check whether the system is secure. You now came to this place and then meet this message. What do you think you should do as an expert? What do you think you should do? You do what? Is it a good information? Is it alarm? It's not an alarm. It's an alarm, right? Good. Which means that if you are to report, let's say before you start fixing it, because you are supposed to write your report. If you are to report, how will you report this system? How will you report this system to your boss? Will you report the system that the system is secure, that they should just go and sleep? The system is not secure. And then you will now what? Update. Now, but outside that, you have a button that says what? Check for what? Update. So you run it. And then you will now notice that the computer will perform what we call what? Vulnerability what? Scanning. What is happening right now is called what? Vulnerability what? Scanning. So you're trying to scan because anything is going to list up now. Makes the computer what? Exposed to attack. That is why we categorize that as what? Vulnerability what? Scanning. Then when it's finished the scanning process, it's going to list out those components within your system that require what? Updates. What can you see now? It has listed one and it's also what? Downloading and installing it. Because we programmed it. Remember, that was where the advanced option came in. We programmed it that it should detect and download and install update automatically once it check and it find what? Any of them. Did it not? You did all this. I don't know where Auntie is now bringing that. I gave you that topic as in before the last class. And maybe you were not writing down all the steps. But let me confirm from you again. Alpha, have we done window updates? Okay, good. Okay. How to activate window. Is that what I said? Is that what I said? How to activate window. Okay, one of the class, right? I don't have the software here. Remind me the next class. Write it down, the next class, so I will come with the activator. It's a software that we use to do that. It's part of the tools that we should have. Okay, now, so it is safe for us to proceed now. So let's quickly proceed to what did I say is going to be our topic today? I said we are looking at what? Data what? Encryption. Data encryption. Remember that this is still under what topic? This is still under what topic? Technical what? Measures, right? Technical measures. So we are done with firewall because it is the firewall that led to what? To the updating to make sure that they are up to date. If not, the firewall will not what? Perform its function. So encryption. What? Encryption in cyber security. Please, we are all expected to be writing. Bros, hope you have your writing material with you. You can use your for good. Just make sure that you have. So let's look at, you see, cyber security professionals. Please, I think I've mentioned it before. Every field has their own word terminologies. Hope you are aware of that. Every field have their own word terminologies. And most time, when you are not conversant with the field you are practicing in terminology, it makes you look as if you are not a professional. So when you come for training like this, your focus should not just be the skill. Your focus should also be on what? The terms that is being used or that are being used to train you. Because if you go for an interview now, nobody will ask you questions like, what is data what? Passwording. Did you see what is data what? Passwording. Nobody is going to ask you a question like that. Instead, they can use the word, what is what? Data what? Encryption. You see it now. So that encryption is just our term. It's a professional term. So what does it mean? So that whenever you hear it, you know what it means, right? Data encryption is the process. Data encryption is the process of converting readable data. Is the process of converting readable data. In brackets, plain text is the process of converting readable data. In the brackets, you write plain text. So the readable data can also be described as what? Plain what? Text. Hello, if I write my password, let's say what? Password at prosper.com, and I send it to you via email. Can we say that is a readable data or an encrypted data? It's readable. What makes it readable? Let's be interactive, please. What makes it readable? Because you can decode it, right? You can what? Decode it. You can decode it. But if I send you my password in a way that when you open it, you only see collection of numbers and alphabets that does not make any sense. What type of file do you think I've sent to you? Encrypted. Now, how many of us have heard of PDF? How many of us know what is called PDF? Raise up your hand. Okay, can you tell us the full meaning of PDF? Because it's part of this topic. What is the full meaning of PDF? The P stand for what? And the D stand for what? And the F stand for what? So the full meaning of PDF is what? Postscript document file. Postscript document what? File. Which means that what? A form of encrypted. That is why if somebody send you a PDF, somebody send you a PDF file, you know that you need a particular software to read it, right? Which is what? Acrobat or what? Adobe what? Reader. So which means that what? To an extent is encrypted, but it's not strong enough. That is why we don't just use that one to say that a data is what? Secure just by, converting it to PDF. You have to go beyond PDF. Because PDF, somebody will see the information in a readable manner, but he cannot write it. Hope you are with me? The person cannot change. But now we have a version of what? PDF that can write and what? Read. And that is happening because of the advancement of what? Technology. When it started far back, 2008, that I know, once somebody encrypt a file and sent to you in PDF, you cannot what? Edit it. You cannot edit it. So I'm just speaking from that perspective, that a PDF is part of what? Encrypted what? File or data. But the only thing is that you can see it. So let's continue with the definition. I said data encryption is the process of converting readable data, in bracket, plain text, continuation, into an unreadable format. Into an unreadable format. Into what? An unreadable what? Format, which is called cipher. Which is called cipher. Cipher text. Which is called what? Cipher what? Text. So as a cybersecurity professional, these are part of the terms that I said we need to be familiar with. How many of us have heard of cryptography? There are some persons that will come for inquiry that will say that, will I be taught cryptography? Because they must have researched and see that is an aspect of what? Cyber what? Security. So cryptography, but we have been hearing crypto website or cryptocurrency, right? You don't know that that word crypto is from security perspective. That is what? Secured, right? Secure. That is why it's always end to end. Even up to now, as far as I know, transactions that are performed through crypto wallets and all that, they are more secure than the one you perform through your normal banks. Am I correct? Now, there is an encryption. End-to-end what? Encryption. That is what? When I send you the money, the receiver cannot even trace where the money is what? Coming from. You say what? It's open now. Yes.
Every transaction.
That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the security aspect. The security aspect of it is what I'm talking about. It's secure. That is why you notice that
Which one else? Well, I said blockchain. Blockchain is just only blockchain.
Okay, just only blockchain. Okay, now that is angle I'm talking about, because I know that is the reason why you see most people today. I don't want to call the category of the people. Most of them, they hide their money in what? Those platforms. They store the money there because, for example, now, if you store money in GT Bank or any other Nigeria bank, for example, now, do you know that if anything happens now, somebody can go there and check the history of everything and trace easily? But all this global currency, like all this what we're talking about now, your Nigeria bank cannot just wake up and go and meet them that you want to know the source of this person, except probably maybe the person is reported. But I don't know, but when it started, it was very strong that everybody was like saving money or performing transaction through that medium because it's more safe. So what I'm picking from the whole of that is security. Security. So which means that what, even if as a hacker, you try to break into and you are able to absorb information that are ciphered, that information will not be useful to you because it has already been what? Encrypted, converted. Where did I stop? I said what? Cipher what? Text. Using mathematical algorithm. Using mathematical algorithm and encryption keys. Using mathematical algorithm and encryption what? Keys. To prevent unauthorized access. To prevent unauthorized access. So it's part of the technical measure that need to be put in place by you as a cybersecurity what? Professional. So this cryptography is the process of converting data from plain readable format to what? Unreadable format, which is simply what? The encryption we are talking about. So let's look at the advantage of encryption, data encryption, right? Advantage of data encryption. Why should we encrypt data? Why should we encrypt data? Number one, confidentiality. Number one, confidentiality. That is one of the reasons why we encrypt data. Number one, what? Confidentiality. What does that mean? In bracket, only authorized users can read the data. So which means that a password can be attached, that if you want to decrypt it, you must impute it. Number two, integrity. Number two, integrity. Number two, integrity is one of the essence of what? Is one of the essence of what? Encrypting our data. So in bracket, data is not altered. Data is not altered. That is the what? The integrity we're talking about. Data is not altered. So the next one is security during storage and transmission. Security during storage and transmission. Security during what? Storage and what? Transmission. So when data are encrypted, they are secure during what? Storage and transmission. How many of us know that data travel on the internet as packets? Are you with me? So if I'm sending you anything, it comes to you as a packet. Now, that is why we have a router. A router is to unpack it. Is to unpack it. How many of us know what is called router? Example of router. We have them now, this MTN, Wi-Fi, whatever. When the data gets to you, they will unpack it. So that route is, you know what? The path the data what? Flows. So when we say router is the one that what? That routes it, that unpack it. When we get to the ethical hacking properly, you understand what happened between the two nodes, the one sending and the one what? Receiving. So let's quickly talk about what? Types of encryption, quickly. Types of encryption. I'm going to a particular practical. So I'm just giving us a foundation so that by the time we get to that aspect, you know why we need to have this information. Number one, we have symmetric encryption. Symmetric encryption. We have symmetric encryption. So what do we mean by symmetric what? Encryption. Right. Uses only key. Uses only key. In other words, this is a type of encryption that uses only key, in bracket, fast but less secure. It is fast but less what? Secure. Fast but less secure. Am I communicating? Fast and what? Less what? Secure. If the key is exposed, so let's look at the next one, asymmetric encryption. Don't forget the advice I gave us. Get used to these terminologies. Asymmetric what? Encryption. So what is asymmetric encryption? Right, this is the kind of encryption that uses two keys. One is public key and private key. So you can see that this one is more secure. One is public key and what? Private what? Key. So I ask us, document passwording, is it part of encryption?
Hello?
When you password your file in MS Word, for example, or Excel, can we say that it's part of the encryption? But what method of encryption is that? Symmetric, right? Because once your password is known to the third party, but for asymmetric, I'll give out an example that probably, I don't know if you understand it. Like, for example, now, if you are creating e-commerce websites, and you want to set up a dashboard where maybe with Paystack or with this Flutter Wave, now they will give you public key and what? Private key or secret key. Even most of the e-wallet platform, they have private key, right? And secret key when you are creating the account, which makes it very what? Secure. For somebody to easily hack somebody cannot easily hack such a platform. So a real life example, right? A real life example is HTTPS website. HTTPS website. A real life example of what? Asymmetry. HTTP what? Website. In bracket, I have padlock. How many of us have seen a website that have padlock? They normally tell us that if you enter a website that does not have that key now, that padlock, you should be scared that that kind of website is not secure. How many of us have heard that statement? Which means that what? The web developer that hosted that website the web developer that hosted our website did not purchase encryption because it's optional. They will tell us if you want the hosting company to secure the website from hackers, buy security. They can tell you that can cost you for $9 US per month. And then they will make it optional. So if the developer skip it, what happened? That is the kind of website you enter now. You see that what is not secure. So that kind of padlock key is asymmetric what? Encryption. It has both public key and what? Private key. So it's very secure. Any questions so far? Because we are entering the main reason why I decided to give us that foundation. Any questions so far? I believe when you leave this class now, if anybody asks you, that what is data encryption. In fact, what is the meaning of encryption? You should know that, okay, it has to do with what? It has to do with what? Making data what? Secure. Either symmetric or what? Asymmetric. So you need to understand that. So that takes us to, right, drive partitioning. Drive partitioning. Drive partitioning. So what do we mean by what is drive in the first place? How many of us know what is called drive? You know what? Have you ever heard the word drive? Drive. Drive. Yes, as far as IT is concerned. Have you ever heard the word drive? Local drive. External drive. Have you not been hearing all these terms? So what comes to your mind when you hear drive? Because that is what you want to partition. I want us to do. To divide, right? Good. That's the key word I'm looking for. To divide. Now, as cybersecurity professional, there's a reason why we want to partition. There's a reason why we want to divide what? The drive. Let me show us the drive. So how do you check your system drive? You click on what? This Window Explorer. This folder is called what? Window what? Explorer. Then you locate what? This PC, right? You will now see the list of what? Drives. This one is one, local drive. This one is what? Partition. This one is one of it. So we are going to learn how to partition another one now. So now, this is how it concerns us as cybersecurity professionals. Let's say you come in as an expert and you ask the company, where are your sensitive data stored in this computer? Because I want to make sure that I protect them. And they tell you that, both the sensitive and the other data, they are in one drive called local drive. Let's say I don't have this. Because if you open your system now, you will not have this. But this is where we are going now. Now, it means that those sensitive data are not secured. So what you will now do as an expert is to move them away. Now, you can see that within this drive, I'm still having some extra what? Empty space, right? So if at all I want to know whether there's still free space, what is the total storage capacity of this drive, and what is the volume of the empty space remaining, what is the space used, how do I conduct that analysis? You right click on it and select what? Properties. And that will give you a breakdown, a graphical what? Breakdown of the used space and the unused space. Why you are doing all this? Because you want to know whether you can partition, whether you can carve out what? Empty space, and move all the company what? Important data into it. Now, this color shows that what? The use space, right? Using this donut graph here. So, which means that I have more empty what? Space compared to the space that I'm used. And if I want to look at it equivalent to gigabytes or measuring it, I have 300 and what? 18 what? Gigabyte what? Free space. The total space is what? 450. Out of that 450, we have consumed this. This is what is remaining. Yeah, that is 450. In fact, that is 500 set. This is 500 hard drive. Yeah, the window will always reduce it. If you buy flash drive 2 gig, once you plug it to your system, you'll be seeing 1.8. The window will always take out space to process it. That's what is happening here. So now, you now know that you have enough space. Okay, now that will now take us to the partition, which means that what? Out of this space, without affecting whatever that must have been stored in this drive, and the company is not going to lose any file, we are going to compress everything to one side so that we can have only the empty space left. And then from that remaining empty space, if it is 100 gig, we will say, okay, out of that 100 gig, we are taking 50 gig away just to padlock it the way I did to this one now. So all the file I have here, these are my lecture materials. So even if I give you this system, now if anybody steal this system, now you can never open this. Even if you remove the hard drive from this computer and take it to another computer, it will ask you for the what? The encryption what? Key. And that is the reason why I started by giving all those background, because what is happening here is what? Encryption. But before that, I took space from the available space. And that is why we are starting with partitioning before we get to what? The BitLocker. Remember that we mentioned what? BitLocker the other time as one of the measure of protecting data within your system. So let's write drive partitioning quickly. Drive partitioning. So what do we mean by drive partitioning? Drive partitioning is the process of dividing, that's the keyword, is the process of dividing a physical storage. Is the process of dividing a physical storage device. In brackets, you write, like a hard drive or hard disk. Like a hard disk or SSD. Can anybody tell us the full meaning of HDD and SSD? These are terms we need to know because we work with all these devices. Like my brother said, if you want to learn how to transfer files from one place to another, you must know all these devices, all these storage devices. HDD means what? Hard disk drive. Oh yeah, SSD means what? Solid state drive. Write it to solid state drive. Is the modern and the fastest computer what? Storages now. Is solid state drive. I said is the modern and the fastest computer storage what? Devices. Now, that is why you see people when they want to buy a laptop, they will tell you that what? SSD 256, 125, 128, HDD 500 gig, 1 terabyte. What they are telling you is what? Different generation what? Computer. The generation we are now, they are computer that uses what? SSD. Solid state. What makes them solid? What makes them solid? They are very stable in process or handling what? Data. They cannot fail easily. Not all those ones that the next few days now your system has crashed. This not fun. They are faster. In fact, they are like ×3 faster than what? The HDD. So technology is advancing beyond what? Using HDD. Not that, I'm not saying that we don't have them, we don't have HDD, we still have them, but people that have money to buy higher laptop, they are going for the one that have what? SSD. So let's continue with the notes. Remember I said what? Drive partitioning is the process of dividing a physical what? Storage device like HDD or what? SDD, close the bracket, into separate logical sections. Into separate logical sections. Into separate logical sections called partitions. Into what? Separate logical section called partition. So please, going forward, anytime the word partition is used in this field, you and I should know we are talking about dividing drive, because drives are for holding data. So let's look at some of the reasons, some of the key reasons why we partition drive. And remember, we are learning this drive partitioning from the angle of what? Cybersecurity. from the angle of securing data file in a system, which is part of your responsibility. When we define cybersecurity, we say what is a collective way, processes, using method to protect. We mentioned data, right? We mentioned data as one of the entity we protect. So let's look at why partition a drive. Number one, organize file better. So when drive is partitioned, files are better what? Organized. That is one of the key words, reason for partitioning what? Drive. We have our file more what? Organized. Two, install multiple operating systems. That is one of the advantages. How many of us know that you can actually have a single system running Windows 10 and what? Windows 11. Such that when you want to use the system, you decide which of the window you want to use. Or you can have a single system using what? Linux. How many of us know what is called Linux operating system? In fact, Linux is what we are going to use for our ethical what? Hacking what? Practice. While we are using Windows to learn what? System what? Security, majorly. I said install multiple operating system. The next one, separate system file from personal data. So you can see these are the core reason why this particular exercise falls under measure that we use to what? To protect data in a system. So let's quickly look at step by steps on how to what? To manage this. That is what? Step by step on how to partition a drive. Quickly, let's write. We're supposed to on our laptop. While I'm doing it, you can as well do it. But you can just pay attention. Maybe after my explanation, I'll give us time to what? To do it. Or you do it as an assignment. So what are the steps we need to follow? Step number one, press window X. Hello. How many of us know the button called window? I don't know if you can see my mouse. Can you see this icon I am navigating at? This window, we have it on your laptop, on the keyboard. So that is the button. So you press it and press X. So if you press it, you hold it down and press letter X. Hold it down and press letter X. Letter X. X, yes. If you hold it down and press letter X, you see that what? It pop up this word, these features. That's your first step. Your first step, remember we are still talking about what? Steps on how to what? Partition system drive. So we want to start with partitioning it, then before we look at how to what? To bitlock it, how to lock it. So you press window X. And that will list out this option. From here, you navigate to what? Disk what? Management. That's your next step. Click on Disk Management. So the moment you click on Disk Management, the computer will prompt you to this window where you can view the list of existing what? Drives. So from here, you can now identify which of them do you want to do what? Partition. So how many drives do we have here, please? Volume means drive. We have drive C, right? We have partition 0. We have backup, which is that one that have key, the one I've already locked, right? Then we have system reserve. That reserve is the reason why we have that short of what? Instead of making it a 500, because it has reserved it for the system to what? To process that particular drive with. So the file that the window will use to manage that drive, they are stored in that reserved what? Storage. So which one are we partitioning? The drive C. And when you click on the drive C, what is the amount of, now, look up here. Let me bring it down here. All these drive, they now have different what? Partition here, different allocation. This is the one that have the space. Are you with me? This is the one that have the space that you want to take. That other one that have the first one before the one I padlock. So you must, when you come here, you must know which one is it out of this one. This one is 29 point what? 25 what? Gigabyte. Out of this, if there's still empty space, do you want to compress what you have there so that you can save some space that you can take out of it, or here? So you must identify. So your next step, and now there's something else I want us what to understand when it comes to what? Partitioning drive. We need to understand the technology you are using to partition the file, the drive rather. And that technology means the format. It means what? The format of reading the file in that particular drive that you are partitioning. So we have two known formats: FAT, that's FAT, and what? NT what? FS. I expect us to be noting some of this FAT down. We have under what? Drive, how do I put it? Drive a file readable format. We have FAT, we have NTFS. So FAT means file allocation table. File allocation table, which is the old method. Drives that are formatted or partitioned with a FAT, they are slower in terms of what? Reading file from them. While the ones that are formatted or partitioned with NTFS, they are faster. So the new technology for partitioning drive is what? NTFS. So we can now look at what is the full meaning of the NTFS. New technology file system. New technology file system. New technology file system. So this particular drive that I want to partition, what technology is using? NTFS. Bros, hope you are with us. So now let's continue the step. Where did we stop with the step? I said what? Press window S, right? And that will only display what? The list of available what? Drive. Then your next step is what? Identify the drive to partition from the list. Write your step, please. Identify the drive to partition from the list. Identify the drive to partition from the list. Are you with me? So in our own case now, which of them are we partitioning? This one, drive C, e.g. drive C. Now, once you have identified it, the next step is for you to right-click on it, right-click within that section. And select what? String volume. That string means compress the volume. So in that case, you are shifting. You are trying to what? To extract some space. And also moving the information currently in that drive to a different what? Sector. So that by the time you take that space, it does not cut any file away. So once you click on this, then you wait for it. So it's going to query the volume. Query means what? It's performing some tasks. It's asking some questions. It's trying to analyze the space. Then after some time, we are going to get a kind of breakdown as regards to the available space that we can take from the drive, or whether we are not even allowed. The drive is almost what? Fill up. So we'll get all that reply. Good. So what can we see here from this analysis? It says what? Total size before string is what? 400, let's say 500, that particular total volume that we met. Size available, that is what? From that total space, the only space that is free, we just confirm it now, 317 that time, right? Which is this. Then, look at what it says. Say, enter the amount of space to string. That is what? From this available, how much of the space you want to take. Are we following? Bros, are you with us? How much of the space? Of course, you cannot say, you can decide to say, okay, I want to take the whole space. So if I take the remaining empty space, it means I'm leaving just that 117 gigabyte space that I've used. And this one becomes the new partition. I'll say, okay, from this one, I just want to take maybe 20. I just want to take maybe 20. Remember, it must be in that 1,000. So which means that what? If you subtract 20 from here, the remaining one will go back and join what? The one that will remain. And then you now click on what? Shrink. Then you now hold on for another analysis. So while this is going on, you can update your notes. Your next is what? Observe the analysis. Observe the analysis that states the total space available. Observe the analysis that states the total space available before shrinking and after shrinking. Before shrinking and afterward shrinking. So the next step, now impute the amount of space you want to take or partition. Impute the amount of space you want to partition, e.g., 20,000 from what I imputed. Now, who can tell us what happened? Let me allow you to factor what happened here. Where is the partition that you took now? Where is the space you partitioned? Can we identify it? Can we? You can't see it. Look very well. This is it. It has also reserved some space. That is why it's not giving us 20. Instead, it's giving us what? 19 points. Now, what's the difference between this space and this space? Let me know whether you can see it. This one is black. Why here is blue, isn't it? Do you know what it's saying? This one, once it's showing black, it means that what? It's not yet allocated. If I minimize now, and I go back to the system, look up, and I click on this file explorer, it's not here. That 20 gigabyte space that you partition is not listed here. Why? Because it has not been formatted. It has not been initialized. So now, that means that what we still have one more step to take to allocate it. Because right now, it's telling us what is what? Unallocated. So your next step, to allocate the partition space, please, right? To allocate the partition space. To allocate the partition space, right-click on it and select New Simple Volume. Right-click on it and select New Simple Volume. And select what? New what? Simple what? Volume. Are we together? Make sure you are looking at it. Now, then it brought out a wizard. Welcome to the new simple volume what? Wizard. This wizard helps you create a simple word volume on disk. So I'll click on next. Then it asks me, this is the space that you want to initialize. I'll say what? Next. Then now look up. And it's asking me that, okay, look at it. The last time that I took us away from here, what alphabet is representing drive C? Sorry, local disk is C, right? What alphabet is representing what? My backup is D. What alphabet is representing what? The CD-ROM is what? E. Now it's asking you that by the time it added here, what alphabet will represent it? That is what it's asking us. What is it showing by default? F. So I cannot choose what? D again, because one drive has used it. So I can go with F. Isn't it? Then you click on what? Assign the following drive letter. Yes. I click on next. Then choose the method. Remember I told you now, FAT and what? NTFS. Which one did I say is better? NTFS, right? Now you want to give the volume a name, just like the way I name my own backup. So I will name it here. This one is what? Backup 2, for example. You see, what I'm doing now is what you can collect money from. You can collect money for somebody, let's say a student. You may not understand. See, if you go to Kowe or Computer Village and you ask them that, please, I want to create backup. That's how they call it. This is what the person is going to do. Without losing my file, they'll say, backup without losing your file is 20K. 20K. What will you do? What we are doing now? Because somebody who does not know this will go and format the system. Because during formatting, you have the first chance to what? To partition. But once you are done with formatting, any other partition, you have to go through this way. But many people do not know this one. But we are doing it because we are doing it to achieve our cybersecurity world purpose. We want to ensure that this particular backup 2, only the company what important data will be here, then we will lock it. By the time we lock it, you can tell them to go and sleep, that nobody can break into the system and steal those files. Apart from that, any other user of that system that is not given the password to this drive can use this system and not having access to what? To those information. So you have established what? That security measure. So now, let's click on it. Then it gives you the breakdown. Then so let's finish. Now, the operation you select will convert the selected basic what? This to dynamic what? This. If you convert this to what? Dynamic, you will not be able to start what? Install operating system from any volume. So let's click on yes and go. So probably, let's see what happened. So that is actually the process, but the only thing is that is throwing an error, probably based on the setting. Let me go again. Maybe if I select another option, it will allow me to go. Sorry, I can't use this because I've already used that. What was I think I used F the other side. So that is actually the process, I think, because my partition and my setting. So if you have your laptop here, you can just do it now. Let's confirm it. How many of us are with our laptops? Are you not with your own? Why? How come everybody just came without laptop today? So one particular setting is actually objecting it. So now, so that is actually, that's the last step. After that, now the only thing that will happen is that you will now be able to see it. When next you come to here, you see it here at what? Drive F. So your assignment is to try the process and get back to me for the next class. You need to work because I don't think you have done any partition. Any questions so far? What is the question? From where? Let me extend the volume again. You know what that means? That is that space that we created and I want to take it back, want to return it. We don't need it. You understand? What did I do? This is where we brought it from, right? That's why you have to go to that place. You now what? Expand. Select what? Extend what? Volume. Then click on next. Then to highlight the one that you want to take back to. So you can now say yes. So that as what? Taking it back. So just tell me from where you don't understand it.
This space. I know like
Yes.
section. I don't right.
Mm.
I can just remove space.
Yes, we are removing space. That is the division we're talking about. That one is not your issue. That is what we are doing now. That analysis that was taking place that time, we say string. Remember, before we started, we said what? You right click, right? You select what? String what? Volume. So that string means what? To shift. To shift them to one side and tell you the remaining space. That is why when it's completed the process, what did we got? We got a breakdown that says before and after and the space available. So it's none of your business. That is actually what we are doing. So clicking this button is what is separating. Any other question? Okay, you want to see it physically when he's packing them and putting them on one side before you believe. Okay. Yes, where we are going now is that, well, where we are going probably because of time, it will be in our next class. BitLocker. BitLocker is one of the newly introduced very strong technology for what? Encrypting what? Drive or data in a drive. But what we are doing now is that why I decided to go through teaching you partitioning is because if you are employed tomorrow and they have already stored some file there and you are not asked to bitlock all the file in that system, you are only asked to bitlock only some. You will need this knowledge to what? To create space first, then move those ones that they want you to password to that empty space before you go ahead and what? Bitlock. For example, now look at this one now. This is the bitlocking, this key that you are seeing on this drive. Before I bitlock this drive was not there. And I consider the fact that if I bitlock this, it means that everybody that have access to the system, I must always give them password before they can access file in this system. And I'm scared of giving them access. So the first thing I did is to partition and take space from here. I think I took a 29 point something space from that space. And then I now move all my file that I don't want general user to see into this partition there and unlock it. So you have no business even trying to open this when you are not authorized. But you have the right to exploit whatever you have here. Definitely, if I'm to advise my company, I will tell them not to save sensitive data what? Here. Are you with me? I will ask them to save them here. I don't know if I've explained your question.
Yeah.
So what is the assignment now? Because this is where I'm going to stop. What is the assignment? What is the assignment? Please, I don't want to hear that I forgot. Put it in writing. Start writing. Assignment number 1. Create 10 gigabytes space. Create or partition 10 gigabyte space from your existing drive. From your existing drive. From your what? Existing drive. So that will take you through the practical we have done so far, right? I believe you were writing down your steps.